Hey guys, YouTube Worm here. Alright, now here I am continuing on with reviewing these Marvel stinkers. And now here I am with a review for Hulk. So, yeah, I have actually talked quite a bit about this movie before in some videos that I've done. Yeah, you might remember, I did put this film on that list that I did of the 10 movies that audiences don't like but critics do. And plus, back when I did review The Incredible Hulk a few years ago, I did sort of talk about this film. Kind of just it's really sort of just yeah. I was basically just talking about it. It kind of in comparison to The Incredible Hulk on what I really thought of it. I gave sort of my brief thoughts on it and what I really did how I really did sort of feel about the movie compared to how I did about The Incredible Hulk. And so, yeah. And if you saw my review for The Incredible Hulk, I did say in my review for that film that I actually do prefer this film over The Incredible Hulk. I know I am in kind of a minority on that, but yeah, I have just really enjoyed this film more than I did The Incredible Hulk. I mean, yeah, I know that a lot of people really did not like this movie. I know that there were quite a lot of people that really did feel disappointed and let down by this film. And yeah, I guess I can understand why people really did feel just really let down by this film because yeah, I mean the Hulk. I mean, yeah, Hulk is just one of the most popular Marvel characters of all time. So yeah, a lot of people were really looking forward to seeing Hulk on the big screen for the first time. And then yeah, when then they gave us this film, and this really was not what a lot of people were really expecting to see. And so yeah, when this film was released, I was 9 years old. So yeah, and as a kid, I really did love the Hulk. So yeah, of course, I was just extremely excited to see this movie when it first came out. And yeah, when I did see the film in the theater, I did actually enjoy it. I mean, just yeah, as a 9-year-old kid, I just loved finally seeing the Hulk on the big screen. So yeah, so it was really just that was really just how it was for me as a kid, just seeing one of my most favorite characters ever on the big screen. It just was something that I really loved to see. So yeah, I guess it's really because of that I really have held this film in the high regard that I have. I mean, yeah, it's not one of my favorite superhero films of all time. Definitely not. I do acknowledge that this film definitely does have it's yeah, it's like filled with problems. There are definitely a lot of things that are wrong with this film, but overall, just I don't know what it is. I mean, it's probably just because I was younger, so I really just am just the excitement that I had to finally see the Hulk on the big screen. I really do hold this film in a higher regard than I did the Incredible Hulk. Just yeah, seeing it again, done in the Incredible Hulk. Yeah, I just really didn't have the same feeling when I did see that film that I did with this one, and I just felt kind of bored by watching the Incredible Hulk. And I have actually said that I still do say that the Incredible Hulk I think is actually the weakest film of the MCU. Yeah, it just is it really is basically the only Marvel film that I really don't think is very good. But so yeah, but yeah, and even this film, it's really not a masterpiece at all. It's probably not even a very good film, but I personally don't actually think it is as bad as a lot of people say it is. It does have its fair share of problems. Like I have said, there are a lot of things wrong with the film. This film has all this stuff with the split screens that are going on in this film. This film just has split screens basically every 30 seconds of the film, and that crap is really annoying to watch. Just in every big scene in the movie, you always have these split screens going on, showing just different angles. It shows one character and it shows another, and there's even a couple of times where these those split screens just like show the same shot from different angles. So what's even the point? So yeah, I do hate the split screens that are used in this film. I don't even know why they did that. I mean, were they just like trying to actually make this film just actually, since it's like based on a comic book, were they actually trying to make it look like a comic book? I mean, but even then, like, what's the point in that? Because I mean, this is a film first and foremost. Like, you don't see like other comic book films doing that. I mean, have you did you see like the X-Men films having split screens to make it look more like a comic book? Did you see like the original Spider-Man films? Like the first Spider-Man had been released the year before this film came out. Did you see that film using split screens? No, you didn't. So, why did they even actually use split screens in this film? I don't know. So this film was actually directed by Ang Lee, and so yeah, and a lot of people say that Ang Lee really was not the right choice to direct this film. I mean, because yeah, Ang Lee's like film style is very differently. Like right before this film, Ang Lee had done Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragons. Is that what it's called? Crouch, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragons. That's what it's called. Yeah. So yeah, I actually haven't really seen that film. I really haven't like actually like seen really a lot of Ang Lee's films. I really don't watch what he's done. So yeah, but yeah, I from the looks of it, it seems that this the tone of this film really isn't Ang Lee's style. So a lot of people say that Ang Lee wasn't the right choice for the director for this film. So yeah, I guess I can probably see that. I don't know if like the split screens was his idea or what it was, but yeah, either way, like the split screen stuff is really annoying, and the performances really are not anything too spectacular. Like a lot of the characters really are not interesting, and they're just like really bland in the film. Like there's like Jennifer Connelly as Betty, and yeah, she just has like absolutely no emotion. There's Nick Nolte, but yeah, he's Nick Nolte, so what do you really expect? Yeah, and just there's a lot of like the cast in this film that really just seem very bland, and they don't really seem to really be like trying that much. Yeah. But yeah, this film like does star Eric Bana, of course, as Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, and yeah, people really don't seem to really be a fan of this performance by him. But personally, I don't actually really think he is like that bad with the role. I mean, there are times where he actually really does like have some emotion. Like in the scene where his father is like first talking to him, revealing that he is his father, like as he actually is like starting to yell at his father. I mean, he is actually showing some like character in that scene, and there are like other scenes where he does seem to actually be like showing some character or arcs. Like, well, yeah, he does like seem to be like showing some like signs of like emotion through the film. Like it's not something where he's like just absolutely like totally bland throughout the whole thing. So yeah, I actually do prefer Eric Bana's performance over Edward Norton in The Incredible Hulk. I actually did find like Edward Norton's performance to be boring, which I think I have actually said before. So yeah, I actually do prefer Eric Bana's performance in this film as Bruce Banner rather than Edward Norton's. But yeah, Mark Ruffalo, oh, like he's like better than both guys. Like Mark Ruffalo is the best one, and that has had this role. But yeah, when it comes to between like Eric Bana and Edward Norton, I do prefer Eric Bana. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, there's like the stuff between like Bruce and his father in this film, and that's not a very good uh like that's not like one of the good plot points of this film. Like yeah, that subplot is just like done really badly, and that's just not very good and stuff. So yeah, and there are like other things like there's just like a lot of talking in the film, and it just seems like very over dramatic at times, and just it's like really abstract and slow paced. So yeah, I guess I can kind of see, in a sense, why people really are not fans of this film, and why they really do not like it at all, and why this film has really like seemed to not really been such a big hit. Like I remember like back when this film was released in the theater, like it did like do good on like its opening weekend, but then the following weekend the box office dropped like 60% or so. So yeah, this film really like seemed to really take a big box office drop up after its opening weekend and stuff. But yeah, I mean the film overall, like there were like people that did like seem to have some interest in the film. Like I remember like back when when the film came out on DVD, like it did well with DVD sales, and I remember like back like when this film was released, like all the merchandise that was released. I mean, the merchandise sales were overall like pretty good. So I mean, so I don't think like this film was definitely like universally hated. Like there were some people that did have an interest in this film, but it just really didn't seem to really perform the way a lot of people really thought it did. So yeah, so it's not like a masterpiece. It's probably not a very good film, but me personally, I really don't hate the film. I do think that it is. It's not good, but it is like it's not as horrible as a lot of people really do put it out. Like the action scenes in the film, while they are like very limited, I do like them. Like in the scene where the Hulk is like fighting off the army, where he's like throwing tanks and stuff. I actually do like that. The CG in particular is something else that admittedly hasn't aged very well, especially like in that scene where he's fighting the mutated dogs. Like, oh gosh, that CG on the dogs, it just looks awful. Yeah, but yeah, that's something else about the film that really is like pretty bad. So yeah, so this film is definitely like loaded with a lot of just bad things and just flaws throughout. But I still overall did like I did enjoy the film as a kid, and yeah, and now even like when I do watch the film, I can't really say that I'm absolutely like bored watching the whole thing. Like I'd be lying if I said that I didn't really like the stuff between like Bruce and Betty. Like I do actually sort of like their connection in this film. I do think that while like Jennifer Connelly doesn't really have like a whole lot of like emotion to the character Betty at all, I do actually do kind of like seeing Eric Bana and Jennifer Connelly on screen together. I do think that they do have like while they're like bland, they do have like some chemistry with each other, or to at least work together. I mean, I would like prefer to watch them than I would Edward Norton and Liv Tyler together. So yeah, so so really just it's not a good film, and yeah, probably one of the another one that is probably looked at as a very big wasted opportunity for a comic book film. But yeah, as a kid, I did enjoy it, and yeah, well, yeah, and it's because pretty much like because of that, since I was a kid, like I still have like held this film in a higher regard than most other people do. So yeah, not good, but not horrible film. So yeah, so I would guess I would probably like give this film around like 2.5 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, people might think I'm overrating it, but it's like it really is coming from like the enjoyment that I get out of this film as a kid, and now I'm still like I can't say that I'm totally bored when watching this film. So yeah, I know that I am like kind of in a minority on it, but it's just like my personal belief that I really do like kind of see this film better than a lot of other people do. So yeah, okay, so yeah, this review. I'm already like 13 minutes into this review, so yeah, let me just like get right into the premise of the film. Yeah, so yeah, as the film opens up, like it does, like I did think that it was cool that like when they showed like the Marvel logo. Well, at the beginning of the film, it was like in green. It showed like just like pages of like Hulk and stuff, and it was all in green, and you saw the Marvel logo in green, yeah. And then yeah, it opens up like sometime during the 1960s, where it shows that David Banner, or who's a this scientist David Banner, he's like trying to forge some super soldiers by introducing some type of modified DNA sequences that he is apparently like extracting from various animals to kind of like strengthen up the human cellular response. But yeah, General Thaddeus Ross like didn't grant Banner the permission to use any human subjects. So then he decided to just use himself as the subject for his experiment, and so then, and after like he found out that his wife was pregnant and that they gave birth to a boy. Yeah, he learned that his son Bruce may have actually like inherited the effects from his experiment, and as he's trying to find a cure for it, Gen- General Ross had found out about his secret work of his experiment, and then he just stopped him and kicked him off his project as he was trying to do some research to find a cure. And then as he came back home, he just took Bruce's mother into like his bedroom, and it didn't actually show what was going on, but yeah, you just like heard some screaming from the both of them, and then you just then cut to like um a long time after, like as Bruce was a teenager, and he doesn't really have any sort of memory of the incident, and he's now like been adopted by the Krenslers. Yeah, and then and years later, then it showed that now he was a geneticist at Berkeley Biotechnology Institute, and he was working like with colleagues like Betty Ross, of course, his girlfriend, as well as another colleague. He he got Harper, yeah, and yeah, it was funny that when Bruce like first came to the institute, the first time we actually see him coming to the institute, it shows like as he's like going into the building, there are two security guards coming out, and the two security guards were Stan Lee and Lou Ferrigno. Yeah, Lou Ferrigno like made an appearance in the Incredible Hulk, and yeah, he also made an appearance in this one as well. So it's interesting to see Lou Ferrigno, who played the Hulk in like the old TV show, made an appearance in both Hulk films. Yeah, yeah, but anyway, yeah, and and then like it shows that Bruce, Betty, and Harper are like working like on like a project like to achieve like some instant like cell repair or with some low level gamma radiation exposure, and they use it to actually like cure all sorts of sicknesses like cancer and Alzheimer's, and it shows like this major Glenn Talbot who like apparently like is like an old face from Betty's past. And it's like he's trying to like use their research to like pretty much like take up David Banner's work and forge some super soldiers. And then later on, as like the Bruce, Betty, and Harper were like performing some routine maintenance on their gamma spectrometer, or as Harper was doing some work, there was a circuit short, and then like I guess Harper was like suffering from some and then like the program sequence of the spectrometer was then triggered, and then it like rose the gamma levels was very high, and then they couldn't actually like stop the machine from firing up, and then it showed that Harper was like right where the ray was going to fire, and then yeah, Bruce then just like stepped in front of the ray, and then yeah, then it showed that Bruce was just hit by a huge amount of gamma radiation. Yeah, and then it cut to Bruce in the hospital, but he just said that he was feeling great because yeah, everything that like he wasn't feeling good on him now, it was like all better, and then and it showed that now the new janitor who's like working at the lab, who like also has some dogs with him. He then like visited Bruce in his room, and then he was just telling Bruce that Bruce's last name isn't Krensler, it's Banner, and that he is Bruce's biological father. And he was just telling him that all of his work that he did like it caused him to be actually locked up for 30 years. And then yeah, Bruce of course like didn't believe him because he was like told that his parents died when he was really young. Yeah, but then later on, then like Bruce then discovered that the janitor was telling the truth after like Bruce checked his real genes, and then yeah, Bruce then all of a sudden just got really stressed out, and then he finally did transform into the Hulk for the first time, and then yeah, it showed then him just destroying the entire lab, and then eventually then he saw David, and then yeah, Dave he like went right up to David, and David knew of course that it was Bruce. But then after then like Hulk then like was kind of like regaining some memories of the incident with his mother. Then he just like took off and left. rage. Yeah. And the next morning, then like Bruce really didn't actually remember like what had happened completely, and then he was just telling Betty of like what he could like feel what happened, that he felt that he was just dreaming about everything, uh, like his heart like pounding, and it just was really feeling like birth, and about the janitor telling Bruce that he's his father. Yeah. And then the general then arrived, and then he just felt that Bruce was actually collaborating with his father, and then he was just like, as the general was like interrogating Bruce, and then like discovered that Bruce had like repressed memories, and then he just like placed Bruce under house arrest, and also forbid him from getting anywhere near Eddie, or else he'd be put away for the rest of his life. Yeah. And after Betty also paid a visit to David had like taken Betty's scarf, and then he just threw, just had his dogs smell it, and then just sent his dogs out to track her scent. Yeah. And then after like a call from Bruce to his father, like Bruce then like found out that the radiation from the gamma actually did unleash what was in his DNA, which of course was like the effects that he inherited from his father when he was born. Yeah. And now it's like been like released completely. Yeah. And then yeah, he also David also told Bruce that he was going to have Betty killed by his dogs. And then yeah, Talbot then came to Bruce's house and then attacked him and just accused him of going to the general behind his back to cut him from any of his research that he's done. And then, and as Talbot then like had Bruce pinned down, then Bruce then transformed into the Hulk again, and then he threw Talbot through his front window and seriously injured Talbot. And then, as he went to Betty's house to save her from the dogs, like when Betty first saw Hulk, like she then like knew that it was Bruce as well. And then yeah, the dogs then like ended up arriving looking like monsters because yeah, David had mutated them as well with um, some gamma radiation as well. And yeah, the CG on those dogs, it looks horrible. I mean, it looks like a cartoon. Like seriously, yeah. But yeah, Hulk eventually then ended up defeating the dogs, and then the next morning, then and the military came to Bruce's house. They tranquilized him and took him away, and then they brought him to like a secret military base that they had hidden in the desert. And then their plans were to do some observation on him and to see if they can actually like stop him at all. And then through some convincing from Betty to her father, the general then let Betty then like try to help Bruce herself, and then eventually like it was shown that Talbot was actually like planning to subdue Banner to actually like weaponize all Hulk's powers. And then yeah, it also showed then like David then like snuck into Bruce's lab and tried to recreate Bruce's experiment, but when he like blasted the gamma rays at himself, he didn't actually turn into a Hulk. What happened is he like it showed that he was now able to like absorb or like any sort of material or energy that he would touch. So yeah, it was actually kind of a clever concept for them to do like that with Bruce's father. Like while the story arc with Peter and his father, I mean Bruce and his father is not good at all. Like they did do some interesting things with it, like this. Yeah, but then yeah, after like Betty paid another visit to David, then he then just turned himself over to the military after like he told Betty that he accidentally killed his wife in front of Bruce after or Ross's interference just enraged him. Yeah. Yeah. And then then after then Bruce like had a nightmare during the observation about the event, then he then like realized that his father father was actually trying to kill him while, as his mother protected him, he then turned into the Hulk and was able to then um escape from the base. But before he did, Talbot was then trying to actually gain a sample of Hulk by having he tried to stop him by having just some foam sealant of some kind and trap him up and stuff. And then as Talbot was actually trying to destroy Hulk by launching using a grenade launcher, it deflected off of Hulk and then just went back into the wall behind Talbot, and then it detonated and it killed Talbot. Though it was really silly, that shot, because it just showed the explosion as it threw Talbot. It hit towards us. It just as he was being blasted, it just froze, and then just cut to this whole sort of different montage or collage of different shots in the film. So yeah, another thing to, I guess, make it look more like a comic. Yeah, but then eventually then Hulk was able to escape from the desert base, and then he then just just stormed through the desert, and then it showed that army forces and were trying to stop him. There were tanks being trying to surround him and fire at him, but Hulk then smacked and just took out all the tanks. So it was cool to kind of see Hulk in action like that, throwing tanks and stuff. Yeah. And then eventually then he was able to. He then and made it to San Francisco, but then and then you showed then he then saw Betty in a chopper, and then that kind of calmed him down. And then he then just ended up being surrounded by military and SWAT team and the police and just a bunch of forces like that. And then Betty then ended up arriving, and then that calmed him down to the point where he transformed back into Bruce. Yeah. And then after Bruce then was recaptured, David then was brought to Bruce, and then they were then having a conversation, and Bruce was just telling David that he's not his father anymore. And then David was just trying to taunt Bruce to transform into a Hulk, but that it never worked. And then David then ended up biting an electrical cable, and then then started an electrical current, and then that caused David to absorb all the electricity in San Francisco, and then Bruce also ended up being hit, and then it triggered his Hulk transformation. And then Joel also David now became a sort of creature himself, some type of rock kind of creature or something. I don't know. Some sort of rock monster. But then a fight broke out between Hulk and David, and then it then showed that as they were fighting at Pear Lake, David then was starting to absorb Hulk and the Hulk's energy, but then Hulk then just forced David to absorb his entire power, and then that just ended up being too much for David, and then it overwhelmed him, and then just transformed him into this huge spear of water of some kind, and then then an army missile then ended up hitting David and killing him. And then, it was unclear at that point what had actually happened to Bruce, but it cut to 1 year later, and Bruce was presumed dead by Betty and the General. But in a call to Betty from the General, he then just told her that there had been some Hulk sightings, and then Betty also confessed her love for Bruce to her father. And then just cut to a jungle somewhere in South America, and it showed that Bruce was now a doctor and was now just helping to medicate the poor in South America. But then there were some rebel militants that arrived, and they were going to try to take them all the medicine. But then as Bruce was facing the leader, he was just trying to reason with the leader, but the leader was just saying that the medicine was the property of the government and that they're going to take it, and that the poor are actually part of their enemies. And then it just ended with Bruce just telling the leader of the rebel that and he's making him angry, and he wouldn't like him when he's angry. And then yeah, it just then showed Bruce's eyes becoming green, and then it just like slowly panned out, and from above, from all the trees, from high up above, it, like just heard Hulk's roar, and then yeah, the film then cut to credits. So, yeah. So, like I said, yeah, this film it's not good. It is definitely hampered by a lot of flaws with it. I mean, there are plenty of flaws here, so it's not a perfect film by any means. But for all its flaws that it does have, like I said, I do like still like relatively enjoy the film. I mean, yeah, it's really because, as I said, like as a kid, I just really was excited to finally see Hulk on the big screen. So, yeah, it's really like due to that and just like the impact that this film really did have on me as a kid, just finally seeing Hulk on the big screen just looking so cool for me, despite the fact that he really didn't do much. That's really the reason why I do hold this film in a higher regard than probably a lot of other people do. So yeah, overall I do overall prefer this one over the Incredible Hulk, but yeah, it's still not a good film, and I can like understand why people really do feel the way they do about it. But like I said, I do think that it is better than people do give it credit for. Like, it's not really a terrible film, but just yeah, it just really is a missed opportunity. It really is. So yeah, but yeah, luckily, like the Hulk really has been redeemed in film with like the Avenger films and stuff. So yeah, at least they are like doing the Hulk justice when he's like not like having solo films. So yeah, who knows? Maybe they can actually do like a solo Hulk film where they do him justice. I don't know like what the future plans are for Hulk for the MCU. If he is going to be sticking around, if Mark Ruffalo will still be sticking around, how long that'll go on. Yeah, will we? Yeah, could there be like another Hulk film with Mark Ruffalo in it? Yeah, I guess only time will tell. We'll see what the future has in store for Hulk in the MCU. Yeah, but so yeah, like I said, 2.5 stars out of 4. So yeah, just yeah, not good, but yeah, I guess kind of have a soft spot for it. So yeah, yeah, so yeah, I probably do like this film a lot more than a lot of others do. So yeah, it really is just yeah, probably not a good yeah, it's not a good film, but for me, yeah, I do kind of like look at it in a yeah, I do look at it in a bigger light than a lot of others do. So yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, all right. So I guess this is from my review of Hulk. So I hope you guys enjoy what I had to say about this film. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.